students, today we will take lesson 6 from our social study about study of the past and the early people. Okay. In this lesson we will be studying about those people who have lived long years back. Alright. So those peoples are called the early people. See, when we try to know about the past, every one of us we have our own forefathers, right? So if we want to know the life story or the past life of our forefathers, we can see the photographs of our grandfathers or the written stories about their past life, such as diaries or letters that help us to know about them, right? But how do we know about people, those people who have lived thousands and thousands of years ago? To know about those life style of those past people, let's go with our lesson, okay? Study of the past. Study of the past means the study of what had happened in the past, study about what was happened in the past, and the study about the past life. Okay, the story which will happen before the present time. So those were called the past. So we study the past to know about the people who lived many years ago. So the study of a past, it refers from a book called history. Okay, so history is a social studies that has a record and account of the past, and the person who studies or write about events in history are known as historian. So in order to study about the past, these historians, these people, they use different tools to write about what were happened in the past. So let's find out how they have used their tools to study about the past life. Source of history. This is one of the tools, source of history, which were used by historians while studying about the early people. Okay, so a source of history, a source is anything that has been left behind by a person who witnesses events. So such sources like letters, diaries, eyewitness accounts, books, paintings, photographs, stories, songs, etc. As sources means those early people during their time, they have used so many tools as their weapons, and they have made paintings, they have written records, they had beliefs. So these were called the source. Okay, those practices which were left and found by the historians are called the sources. And do you know who are archaeologists? Archaeologists are those people who studies the artifacts, buildings such as tools, bones, and other things from the past that were been found. These people, they are called an archaeologist. Okay, here in the next picture, in the next page, you will see some tools, paintings, weapons, right, potteries, written records which were used by the early people during their time. Okay, look here, these are the things, which were found by the archaeologists. All right, and these things, all these were used by the early peoples. This is called the paintings, right? This painting is painted by those people who have lived many years ago. And this is called the coins which were used, boats, written letter. During the time of those early people, since the pen which we are using now was not invented, they used a feather of animals as a pen to write something on their book. Okay, and these are the tools and weapons which were used while building houses, or while killing the animals, they have used this type of tools and weapons. Okay, so before going to the story of these early humans, how do you think their life could be during their time? I will say their lifestyle and the lifestyle which we are living now is very different. Okay, their eating habits were also different. Why? Because during their time they ate raw flesh without cooking. Okay, and these people, these early humans, they had no clothes, they had no particular house to live. So these people, they move from one place to another in search of food and shelter. Okay, that is why they are called the early humans. And the house which they lived as their home was their caves. Alright, let's go with the textual. People who lived thousands and thousands of years ago are known as early humans. Alright, during these early humans, these early people, they did not know how to write, how to read. Okay, so there are no such written records of their time. Alright, that is why this period is called prehistory. A prehistory is called because there are no written records about those early people, how they have lived their life. That is why it is called a prehistory. And the periods for which written records, which means the story of those past people. Okay, so the history for which written records are available and we can study about them are called the history. These early humans, they did not record the story of their life, but to know about the lifestyle of these early humans, they have left us tools, weapons, boats, and bands and paintings on cave walls where they lived. So that from these things we come to learn how their lifestyle was lived, right? Now let's go for home of early humans. Like I told you, early humans, they had no home like us, so they lived in a caves, okay, as their shelter. And those caves, it were made of rocks, branches, and animal skins. So to protect themselves from cold, heat, rain, and wild animals, they lived inside a cave, and the clothes which they had worn were made from skins of animals or the leaves of a plant. Okay, this is how they had lived. Let's come to know about their food habits. These early humans, they were known as hunters or gatherers. Why? Because they hunt for animals and move from one place to another in search of food, water, and shelter. So they were called as nomads. Okay, and the food items such as fruits, berries, and the roots of plants, fish, birds, and small animals eaten raw. These were the type of foods which they have eaten during their time. Since they had no idea